Hello and welcome back to the channel. I was on the fence on whether or not I wanted to start covering Loki, but it's just so damn good that I have no choice. So this is Chaco talking Loki with a very special guest uh, right here in the high ground. Hello, everybody. I have Miss Aggie live here. I know this is like an impromptu live, but I had to talk Loki, had to bring on someone amazing to talk about it with. And after this episode, I was like, oh, I gotta talk to Marilu. So yeah, I start introduce yourself and where people can find you and all that good stuff.
Well, all right. I mean, very special guest is a bit of a bit hyperbolic, I would say, but thank you. um, I'm Miss Eggy. I am on TikTok, and I float around the Star Wars community and have a great time. If you like weird, no, like absolutely no pattern whatsoever to anything I post, just weird random things, however I'm feeling, whatever day. It's like the chaotic. It's like I'm like the chaotic, evil to like Chaco's lawful good. Like Chaco and Pep and Element just posed like very like lore, very. It's like going to class, but really fun. It's like I wish college was like that. And then I'll just be like screaming at at nothing. So there you go. So if you like that stuff, come and hang out. But
I mean,
thanks for having me on.
Speaking of weird, you got to show off the swag.
Oh my God.
Let's see the drip.
You guys,
the shirt.
I was just telling him I got the ugly Anakin shirt from Box Lunch. This is the ugliest shirt ever made. Obsessed, completely obsessed. I just told him I went and I got it, and the girl who works there was like, "Oh, we sold out. They made an Obi-Wan one, so Obi-Wan fans, and it's just as ugly. So Obi-Wan fans, go pick it up." And I saw this on Twitter, and I was obsessed, and I drove out like 45 minutes away to the mall that I knew would have it. I got it. So I'm wearing this every day forever. Look at his face. Look at like how bad it is. It's so bad.
First of all, I know exactly what scene that face is from. And that face is not consent.
It's like, I think this is the face he makes when his mom dies.
Oh,
Is this the face?
I was thinking that's the face. Maybe he was wearing something different. I was thinking in the fireplace room when she's like, "No means no," and then he's like, "Sure it does."
He's like,
and you're like,
so you're telling me there's a chance? It's like,
yeah.
Oh, I don't know, Anakin. It's either that or it's like his mom's dead in his arms, and he's like, I'm gonna commit.
What? Mom's dead. Gotta smolder.
Gotta smolder. But yeah, just so this is just my wardrobe every day, and I'm wearing one of Brooks. I'm wearing the Kylo bracelet I got from Brooks' shop. So. Nice. Go get that.
And Brooke says she has the Obi-Wan shirt already. So
oh my God. Oh, I see it. Yeah. Oh my God, Brooke. Oh my God. It's incredible. Yeah. I love it. Obsessed.
And of course, I said a very special guest. Cal Four agrees.
Hi, Cal.
Miss Aggie.
Cal's the best.
Harith says Aggie. And it says, sorry, my lady.
Milady. And is it Harith? Is it Harith?
Yes.
Okay.
At least that's what I say, and he's never corrected me.
Okay.
We got Pep in the chat.
Hi, Pep. Existence is hyperbolic. It is true.
Yeah.
It is true. Oh, one of my coworkers found me on TikTok. I was like, okay. She was like, it's really funny. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're so calm. Like working in an office. It's like the calmest like environment. I'm like, hi, can you fax these? And she's like, you have a lot of energy. I'm like, it's a different facet of my personality.
I am waiting because I know my coworkers will find out someday, and so I'm not telling them. I'm just like, I'm into Star Wars or whatever. It's cool. But Star Wars is not what we're
But
talking about
forget
this
Star
time.
Wars.
We're
Who's
going
she?
Marvel, and in fact, Marvel's actually my first love. I don't talk about it nearly enough. Haven't been talking about it on this channel, but Loki has just been too damn good, and I can't help it. I So before we jump straight into episode 3, which is my favorite episode so far, and it just rocked. What are your thoughts on episodes 1 and 2? Before we get to 3, 1 and 2.
Okay, so I was like I wouldn't say I wasn't a non-believer, but I all of the shows up until this point have been like buddy not when Falcon and Winter Soldier is like a buddy cop show or a buddy or whatever, like
Yeah.
buddy show, and then you have WandaVision and it's Wanda and Vision. So when they were like, oh, it's just Loki, I was like, I don't know, I don't know if Loki's a strong enough character to carry a show on his own. Or their own. I mean, is it like, I mean, it's gender. We don't know it. We don't know Loki's gender, right? But who knows? I will say he, just because I know I'm gonna slip into it.
We do. It's fluid.
It's
That's what
fluid?
it said. That's what it
Okay.
said on the
Cool.
on the report that they have in the
Okay.
TVA. It said fluid.
Okay, fluid. Okay, perfect. And because it was funny because I think people think I love Loki, but I think people think that I like love Loki, because he's like a bad boy that cries a lot. Which I mean,
With
valid.
long hair.
With long dark
It
hair.
tracks.
I mean, valid. The thing about Loki is that like Loki's too smart. Most of like the sad boys that I love are as dumb as bags of rocks. Like, I mean, Bucky was just hit in the head with a hammer, and they were like, "Go here," and he's like, "Okay." Like, he doesn't have any, right? It's like, but
and also Palpatine's dialogue to Anakin is you're like, you fell for that, really?
well, listen, I'm rereading the novelization again, and I'm just like, man,
it's so good.
Palpatine's naked. Like I get it, bro. I'm literally at work scanning documents because I had nothing to do today, and I'm like, this is riveting. This is incredible. But yeah, and like people are like, oh, Kylo Ren's gonna be the supreme leader. I'm like, yeah, I bet that went well for him. He's an idiot. Like, no, Loki is very, very cunning. He's very, very intelligent. He has like a theater kid vibe to him, but I still absolutely adore him. I love Tom. Tom is incredible, and I loved the first 2 episodes. I think my favorite episode is still the first one, because it like the part where the guy, like, it's my type of humor. The part where the guy's like, is this everything you've ever said? And he goes, what? And then there's that beat of silence as the thing prints, and he just takes
on a
the
dot
paper out.
matrix printer.
And
the fact that it was dot matrix was what got me, but I'm a tech guy. I'm like,
incredible. And then he just puts it on top with the pen. Like, that's my humor to a T. And that's when I was like, this is going to be great. Like, this is going to be phenomenal. I love the 60s, like, mod fashion and the sets. I love the TVA, like, environment. I think it's so fun. And the part where he's in line and they're like, take a ticket, like, brilliant, like, just absolutely brilliant, super fun. And episode 2 was really great too. I loved, like, I wasn't, because I'm watching it, like, I have no clue what's going on. Like, I have no, but in a good way,
Same.
like, yeah. I'm like, where is this going? And he's like, the variants hiding in apocalypses. I'm like, that's brilliant. Like, what a brilliant plot element. And then they go to the Walmart, and just
I think I literally said that. I said, what a brilliant plot, comma, element. And then he responded.
But no, you're fine. No, it was incredible. And then this episode was definitely character focused. We're learning about Sylvie and their relationship, and it was great. There's a lot of, like, Snowpiercer vibes. And it was great.
Who is Sylvie?
I know, right? Who is she? I don't know.
I mean, are you calling, she is Enchantress in this universe? Is she just Lady Loki in this universe? And most importantly, do you ship them?
I've seen so much Discord. When she puts her hands on his neck, and he's like, "What are you trying to do? Are you trying to enchant me?" I was like, "Here we go." I was like, "Here we freaking go." I was like, I go on Twitter and all this discourse. I don't know yet. Because I kept on trying to be like, you know, is is she a Loki? And I kept on trying to find like pick. I was really listening on my second watch, and he says, "So what do I call you, Loki? Loki?" And she's like, "I don't go by that anymore." So I'm like, okay, so if she's not lying, then maybe she was. I don't know. It's I'm gonna go with she is for now until we get more information. But I mean,
No.
I've wanted Enchantress like for a long time, and also like for her to be written like Enchantress is like, I mean, how many versions of her have there? Like, she's never really been given much characterization, at least to my knowledge. So she's just
Yeah,
like,
she's just bad. She's there.
yeah, she's just kind of
She's always
there.
cool and
Yeah.
has a lot of fashion sense, but
Yeah, but she was always just kind of there. So I'm like, if they can actually give her a characterization, I would love that.
I love how AJ with SK Base says if anyone's going to fork themselves, it's going to be Loki.
Someone did say they were like, Loki dating himself is like a very Loki thing to do. I was like, valid, I guess. Like, I'm like, is this
Yeah.
gonna be like a reverse Luke Leia, where it's like we're siblings? No, we're not, so it's okay. I don't know. We will see. We will see what happens. What about you? Are you
Oh,
on the ship train?
well, Brian says, "Don't dead name my girl Sylvie."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Uh, no, I don't want to ship them because that just gives me weird vibes. I don't know. It's kind of like
Same.
when the Padme's handmaidens like date each other, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
don't you guys learn to be identical? Like, I don't know. That's just there's a weird like, but it's just not for me. There's nothing wrong with
Mm-hmm.
that. There's nothing. I mean, you do you. I do think she is Enchantress, or will be going forward. They just say the word enchant too much. Like you could use
Yeah.
all kinds of different words. Loki has controlled people's minds before, using the Mind Stone, but no one's ever said the word enchant in the Marvel universe that I can remember. So the frequency with which they use it leads me to believe that's where we're going with this, which is an interesting choice. But with in Thor Ragnarok, they took Hela and Death and um, another character that I can't think of her name and rolled them all into one, and that's what
Ah.
MCU's Hela is. So yeah, I think that could be a thing. Also, I
Yeah.
have DePaul here. He was on the show last night, which I'll have that uploaded like midnight tonight. But awesome episode. We get deep. I thought we were all going to drown on the philosophical details of the conversation. So,
I popped in for a second while I was exercising because I wanted to know what the topic was. I was like, because you never, I always feel like I miss when you say the topics of the shows. And I'm like, what's the topic? Like, I want to know. And I popped in for like a second and I was like, oh, I got to check this out when he posts it. Cause I mean, what a good topic. I mean,
yeah.
good people in the Empire. My God. Absolutely.
Especially if you read Lost Stars.
Oh, of course.
Everyone read Lost Stars.
It is the best.
But back to Loki.
Mm-hmm.
What like this because this episode, like I said, is my favorite. It's led me with so many questions, and it's validating certain predictions I had. I mean, episode 1, I was like, okay, the TVA super sus, protecting like a sacred timeline can't exist. That this means that they are only protecting the timeline that suits them best and are eradicating
Yes.
all the others. So sacred means in our interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this variant is going to be someone that is trying to um, destroy the TVA because the TVA destroys the concept of free will.
Mm-hmm.
The first episode that we learned, I mean, they told Loki specifically, you lose all the time because you are meant to lose.
That
Basically,
line.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. I was just like when like Owen Wilson, who's also wonderful, like the whole cast is amazing. When Owen Wilson was like, "Your whole purpose is to lose," so that other people get to be their best selves. Like I was like, oh no. I was like, that's a lot. And like Loki sees his whole life, like his
Yeah.
whole like, and I had a feeling that that was where like the episode was gonna go, and it, oh, man, it's like it's so meta. It's funny, yeah. Like the timekeepers, like you're right. It's super sus. You're like, okay, the sacred timeline. You know what does that even mean? You know it, and he. Oh my God! There, I had this thought, and it fell out of my. Oh no! I also I'm not one for over theorizing. I've never really been a huge theory person. Like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. I think theorizing is really fun, but I think
Hmm.
when people try to like, I'm gonna beat the movie, like I'm gonna beat the TV show, like, oh, I
Oh.
beat you. It's like that's you're just taking all the fun out of it. Like, just let it be. So I typically am very passive when it comes to like what's gonna happen. I'm
Mm.
like, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Um, but one thing I did immediately like this like his the first couple episodes they're like, well, the timekeepers are so busy, the timekeepers decide, and the timekeepers, well, you can't see them, they're so I like looked at my husband, I'm like, well, the timekeepers aren't real. I was like, they're not like I think I'll stand on that. Like I'm like, they're not real. They keep on
No.
saying this is going to be the Wizard of Oz, where they're going to walk into a room and there's going to be like three people, and then oh, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, and it's going to be like all an illusion or something like.
Where are the timekeepers? Oh, they went to live on a farm.
Oh,
Um,
they're in Bermuda. They're taking their time off. It's like there's
you
just so
just
much
missed them.
dialogue dedicated to that. And I'm like, what? Like they're not real. So, but yeah, and Sylvie is I mean, when they were like, we're hunting you. But then at the end of the first episode where they show the variant and they're still hooded, I'm like, well, it's not like another Loki in the way that we're thinking.
Well, you
Um,
look at the shape and you're like,
yeah,
that's. I
that's
mean,
probably a
that
lady.
that person is like 5'3", and
Yeah.
uh, you know, yeah, we'll see. I have
Hmm.
a Ghostface Kai says she's going to be Star from the comics. I don't know if y'all know who that is. I don't know who that is, so I will
Me
look that
neither.
up. And if if I agree, I'll make a TikTok on it and I'll quote you, Ghostface. Um, yeah, there's so much to unpack though with this. Uh, when we actually find her inside of the mind of the person with the TVA, and we
Yes.
found out that history. What does that mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Literal
when
inception.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but like to find out that these are all variants themselves from different universes, then the question becomes, well, what do the sticks do? Does that transport them somewhere where they get their mind wiped, like to some processing center?
Yes.
Um, does we have Owen Wilson's character Mobius, who is always drinking like discontinued drinks from the '90s and is obsessed with jet skis. I mean,
Hmm.
that's probably where he was taken from, and he's a variant himself.
Yeah.
And all of these people have been stripped of their autonomy, they've been stripped of their free will, and so I
Hmm.
think Sylvie is supposed to try to. I mean, I think that's her goal, but I don't know. What do you see for that?
I mean, I agree with you. I caught like I did a live a couple last weekend, and someone pointed out, and it started off as kind of like Loki talk, like people were just asking me what I thought of it. And someone brought up like how I think it was No More Kingdoms, who is absolutely delightful. He's such a good guy. Well, they are such a good guy. Um, person. Sorry, sorry. I apologize. It's been a long day. But they were talking to me, and they said, what do you think of that scene where he's meeting with the what is she? She's like the supervisor.
Yeah,
Um, that actress, and I love that actress, and I can't remember her name, but she's gorgeous, and everything I've ever seen her, and I've loved her, and I saw her, I was like, I know her from something, and I knew her from a bunch of movies, but like he keeps putting his drink down, and there's the rings, and and they were like, what do you think that's about? Like, why? like
They did put a lot of focus on that
yeah.
thing.
And he Mobius keeps putting his drink down and there's fresh rings of like condensation there. And I'm like, that was the first moment where I was like, what the hell is going on? I mean, it's and I'm like, that's clearly very purposeful, and I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
come back to that. He's stuck in some sort of loop or something because I do think that Mobius is a is an innocent like I think like all of the time of the what are they called the not the
I don't know.
Minutemen.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Minutemen.
all of the Minutemen and all the members of the TVA are innocents in this. I do think it's like it's funny that they don't have knowledge of common things, you know, like when the Loki's like, I'm gonna gut you like a fish. That guy who I'm obsessed with. I love that guy. He's like, what's a fish? Like, and oh, the scene where they open up the drawer and it's just filled with infinity stones. That was I love that type of shit. I love it. He's like, oh, people use them as paperweights. We have so many. I'm like, that's brilliant. The
Yeah.
idea that the most coveted objects in the material world are just nothing here.
We spent 10 years hunting these things down,
yep.
and they're trash.
And they're swimming. They're swimming in these things. Just, we can't get rid of these fast enough. I don't know. People keep trying to find these pebbles. We don't really care why. You know, so cool. And there is something I have a soft like I don't know if I would say soft spot, but I have a distinct like for the most powerful, you know, forces in the world being super mundane. I love that. I just think that's fun. So this idea that the place that controls time and space is just this 60s office where people just are like punching things. They're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, here's the or like when Loki gives him the tesseract, he's like, it's a tesseract. He's like, sounds boring. Like it's just so good.
You said,
like,
don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
sounds stupid. He just throws it in a basket, a lost and found. And
Uh,
but yeah.
I have X4 Gamer Skills who says it was either There Is by T or Straw Hat Goofy who said it's another Loki behind the curtain. What do you think about that?
Ooh. Oh, that's kind of fun.
Like you get up to the top and maybe it's 3 Lokis and you're like, okay. But when
You're
they
like,
were when they
what?
were scrolling through the different Lokis and like one was
Mhm.
super jacked and like all this, like, this
Yeah,
is super
yeah,
weird.
yeah. That was
Um,
that was funny. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. We'll see though. I mean, I feel like that might be kind of like a safe choice. Like you know, to be like Loki did it. It's like, okay. Like, come on. I want something a bit more with a bit more pizzazz, I suppose.
I mean, Brooke says this is Westworld stuff.
Yeah. That's
I've
there
never
you
seen,
go.
but I don't know. Maybe that's
Season
motivation for me to jump
season
into.
season one's really good. I have never seen season two. I heard it wasn't very good, but season one's
Oh.
good.
Um, okay, so we also, in addition, we got confirmation that Loki is a canon bicon. Um, I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Yes, I do. So you were doing your live and you were like, and I was like, hey, when do you want to do it after this episode? I wasn't really sure what you wanted to do. And you were like, yeah, let's do this episode. I really want to talk to you about this episode. And I was like, what? You're like, I'm really curious what you're going to think. And I'm like, why? It's like, oh, okay. So we're watching it. And I'm like waiting for something to happen. I was like, this is really good,
Oh.
but I don't really know what pertains to me in this episode. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and then all of a sudden that drops, and I was like, oh my god, we have a canon bicon. I am thrilled. I had a I had a breakdown on Twitter. It was fine. I was fine. I was so happy. I couldn't believe like I mean, I wasn't sure when the MCU was going to touch queer characters. I wasn't sure if they were ever going to do it. Let's be honest. I mean, you know, because they have their international market and we can't have the gays, you know, okay. So I was curious when we were going to see it. And I think that, I mean, it's a good place to introduce it. I mean, in terms of marketability, it's a television show. It's not a movie. It's not playing in China. They can do this. So, but I still am just so happy. I always kind of assumed that Loki, Now, and also it has a lot to do with the fact that Loki doesn't have, like, someone said that by the time you got through like episode, like halfway through episode 2, Loki had already had more screen time than he ever had in all of the MCU movies combined. So we didn't get that much of Loki outside of like, I'm a villain. It's like, okay. And if they were doing a focus on relationships with Loki, it was always with Thor. So it was always a brotherly, it's like a family bond. So we never really got to ever really see Loki really flirt. Like, I feel like anytime he was ever flirtatious, it was because it was part of like a plot or a plan or something. So I always kind of assumed that Loki was asexual. Like, I was like, Loki's asexual until I'm told otherwise. And getting that confirmation was absolutely just joyful. And I'm so happy because, I mean, bisexual, like I've said this before, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face, like, which is appropriate because he's a frost giant. He, like, according to Hollywood and media, bisexual men didn't exist until 2010. They did not exist. They don't exist. What's that? I like, bi men and bi women have very different, like, struggles, I guess is the word I would go with. I mean, like, struggles in society with how they're perceived.
Yeah.
Bi women are fetishized, and bisexual men are just ignored, or they're just denied, or they're laughed.
One doesn't exist, the other's over sexualized. Yeah,
exactly. It's like no. And I am so, I just am so dedicated to bisexual men. I love them. I treasure them. I so care about them. And I really feel like they are kind of the focus. I really feel like that they're kind of the priority, especially bi men of color are the priority in the bi community, because they also face physical danger from different facets for different reasons. And I just care about them so much. So getting this is wonderful. And I love that they really said it too. It wasn't just like, you know.
Yeah, and so Harith brings up Valkyrie, which, yes, in a deleted scene.
Yeah, well, and then someone said she was
yeah.
And then some other source I read was like, oh, she's gay, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I was like, where? where is this?
It's in a deleted scene. It was, the whole very beautifully styled scene where you see all the Valkyries flying through in slow motion and all that stuff with the light source that's like spinning around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in one of those deleted scenes, the actual person that made her turn her back on Asgard was when her partner died in her arms.
Oh, okay.
Another Valkyrie. And it
was cut.
Yeah.
It was cut. Yeah, it's like, and is that doesn't, I mean, and I'm at a point now where like and this has taken a lot for me because I am generally a very easygoing person. I'm happy. I was always like happy with whatever we got. But now I've really kind of made a point to be more like, that's not good enough anymore. It's 2021. You can't be like, oh, she winked at a girl. It's like, no, like, you have to say it or you have to show it. I will not accept anything else. And the fact that I honestly expected, like, when Sylvie was like, any princesses, any princes, I kind of half expected him to be like, oh, I don't have time to talk about that. Like, and then for them to be like, oh, see, like, no, it's not good enough. Like, but he's like, a little bit of both. I expect the same for you. And I was like, bitch, what? Bitch, what? Bitch, what? What? Like, I can't believe it. So we got it. And I want him to get a boyfriend. I want him to get a girl. I don't care. Whatever. I want everything for him. I love this development for him. And also Sylvie, because, like, I guess that means
it applies Sylvie, for both.
It applies to both. If she is was a Loki at one point. So that's really cool. I mean, they got a lot of chaotic, dumb bisexual energy together. They're just like so stupid. He's like getting drunk, and that was a fun scene. I loved that.
And just singing, like, just giving us all Lord of the Rings vibes. So their only chance of getting off the planet is gone. What do you expect to happen? Because I believe this is only supposed to be 6 episodes as well, right?
Yeah.
So this is halfway through. I don't know. Are they getting off in the next episode? I mean, it's So I mean, I know you're not the biggest on predictions. I personally, I love them, but
Mm-hmm.
I never let like what I want to happen make me like not appreciate what actually happens.
Of
That's
course.
dumb, in
Yeah,
my
there you
opinion.
go.
Oh,
You've reached the perfect balance.
it's yeah. Oh, I wanted this to happen. I hate this, and you're
Yeah.
like, no, that's not right. Like that's
Yeah.
like going over to your friend's house and they have pizza, but you thought they were gonna have hamburgers.
Yeah.
Like, do you like the pizza? I
And then
didn't.
you
Then shut up. I don't
then you burn their house down. It's like that's a bit of an overreaction.
know. Exactly.
I thought he was gonna be Mace Windu. It's like, bro, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, no, it's so what's gonna happen? I mean, this type of plot element is. I mean, I'll think about this all day. Like, I mean, because it's like a literal physical plot element that they have to overcome. I mean, I feel like they might find another power source, maybe because I feel like if they were going to die, like, and then the timeline was going to get reset or something, they would have died at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Like that would have been like the big shock, died, and then they would have like woken up out of wherever they actually were, or whatever twist they were going to pull. So that was kind of so. I don't think that I don't think they're going to be on the planet when it blows up. I think that they might they got to find another power source then, right? Or maybe Mobius will pop in and grab them. That could be a thing. But I'm curious, do you know what the significance of the planet is?
No.
Like, okay, because they went there and I was like, I'm sure this is something. I'm sure
No.
this is something.
No. It's a pretty planet.
Yes.
I mean, in its twilight days.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the name came up, and I'm like, I'm sure this is where Tony Stark's clone was born, or I was like, something. There's some significance here. I don't know.
This
what
is
it
where
is.
Mace Windu got his lightsaber crystal.
There you
Clearly.
go.
Uh,
Yes.
I have a Hand Me the Man who says it has to be Mobius that's gonna come and save him.
Yeah, I think so. Because we didn't see him once this episode, so
Elma Seven says Lamentis is part of the Shi'ar Empire, which
there you go.
Pops up quite a bit, especially if you're an X-Men fan. And
Ooh,
um,
they're dropping these X-Men pearls. I feel like there's been an X-Men pearl in every single show so far.
that is true.
Yeah.
But let's see. Xavier had a mental pen pal in the Shi'ar Empire, and he was trying to get busy with. So like that was a thing.
Oh God, what is it with with these men falling in love with subconsciouses? Like, oh, because Luke, because
you don't love me. You just love the idea of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
right.
Yeah, totally.
That's the whole point. But okay, so maybe there's no. I don't think they're going to do any mutant elements. I don't think that would fit in this show. That just doesn't fit. So yeah, I think Mobius will pop in and just grab him. And but I do like that this is like the Empire Strikes Back. They fail. They're like, crap. Oh, all right. I love their energy together is really fun because there's always trouble if you have characters that are too similar as like a team up, because you typically have to have an opposites dynamic, or they have to be different enough for like them to be entertaining to watch. So the idea of Loki wandering around with a version of himself, I was like, because like in the beginning episode where they phase through and I'm like, okay, this is going to be an adventure with them. I was like, I don't know, like, is this going to work? And it does. They're different enough.
This asks the question of nature versus nurture, which I find extremely fascinating myself. But awesome. Okay. And I just wanted to hop in and have a brief conversation on Loki. I think I'll be doing this once a week and bringing different people on. Definitely getting you back in the mix at some point. But
do you have any closing thoughts on it though too? Like what do you think's going to happen?
I think that Loki revealed a lot of information, and I think Sylvie volunteered almost none. I'm curious if I'm curious if the device is actually broken or if that was an illusion and he's using it in order to get her to give more information.
That could be it. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that is a possibility. I don't know. There's a few things that I see that could be things. I just I just don't quite know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean that's really all I got on it. I'm anxious to see because of where the episode ended. I felt like if they were going to do certain things, they would have needed to have resolved it by the end.
Okay.
By the end of this episode. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would love to. I
And
love to see where we
it's
go from there.
clear that they've had very different lives because she's like, well, you were a prince, weren't you? And I feel like that implication means that she wasn't like a royal person. I don't know. That just kind of came off the way she said it. She's like, well, you were a prince. There weren't any princesses. Like, kind of like she had a very, and when he's like, I'd never walked this much in my life. And she's like, oh, sure must have been a good life. It's like they've had very different lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for sure, I get I see exactly what you mean and where you're going with it.
But yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, before we end it, and I actually might, I want you to stay on, but I will do a quick ending.
Okay.
But yes, thank you so much, Mary Lou, for coming on. Always a pleasure to have you hanging out with me and with Pep and with everyone in the chat, all the awesome people that are following us. We'll definitely talk more Loki. We'll talk more Star Wars, more Marvel, more everything as it comes out. And I don't have a Marvel ending yet. I'm gonna have to work on that one. But I guess may Loki be with you.
There you go. Mischief managed. That's
yes.
Harry Potter.
All right, so that's where I'm going to end that episode. We are still live. I'm being told that the new Shang-Chi trailer just dropped. And so I was curious if you wanted to do a live reaction to said trailer.
Sure, why not? Let's do it. And also you messaged me. You were like, hey, yeah, I think you messaged me yesterday. No, the day before. You were like, hey, are you around? And I was like, I'm always really like adamant. I'm trying to get back to people and make sure like I'm like if you had something you needed or like if you had a question for me or something.
If I was vague, then there was a specific reason for it.
Okay.
we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I like Element 7 says, may you be burdened with glorious purpose.
Perfect.
I like that as an ending.
Me too.
So there's going to be a separate video. I might have to delete the audio or do something funky with it. We shall see, but share. I did the wrong thing. I did it right. I just missed a specific option. Okay.
2 minutes. Okay.
Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
Ooh.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
Oh, we got daddy issues.
Who murders people? Be careful how you speak to me.
I like how the rings aren't ring rings. They're
Yeah, they're like bracelets.
I thought I could change my name. Start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
Ooh.
My son, you can't run from your past.
you better move.
What you wanted?
Ooh. Looks great.
You got this.
Thank you.
Looks good. Oh my god. Yeah, that looks. Oh my. I. So when I first heard like you're like, oh, the Legend of the Ten Rings, I was like, is this like some Sonic and the Hedgehog shit? Like what? Like what is this shit? Like what are we doing?
I mean, I would watch that Sonic movie for sure. That's also true.
But I love martial arts movies. Like I love like Hong Kong, Kung Fu, like all like everything. Like I'll go through like phases where me and my husband Eric will watch like one every night for like 3 weeks, like boom, 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 and we'll watch the classics. We'll watch new stuff. Like I recently showed him the first.
We just watched
Ip
that's
which is which is the perfect entry point for contemporary like kung fu movies. Like it's perfect. Donnie Yen's like is a king. He's the best. So I love the kung fu elements. I love that there's a focus on martial arts. I just it needs to be appreciated more for its pure artistry because people break bones all the time and they're amazing.
Yeah. In the Discord, we recently watched The Raid.
Oh, The Raid's great.
Which is great. Also, we've been rewatching the Rush Hour movies. Not quite kung fu movies, but close enough, you know.
Hey, Jackie Chan is the king of like comedy. Like you can't like this like it's a blend of like obviously martial arts, of course, like amazing physicality, but it's also slapstick. Like it's amazing. I love slapstick comedy, and I know it's dead.
Yeah.
And whenever I see it, I'm like, oh yes, it's so good.
Well, I mean, Jackie Chan's ability to act while in the middle of martial arts moves is just uncanny. Like
incredible.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. Suki.
Yeah, she was feeling
Girl.
left out, so she just wanted to say hello. Speaking of Suki, we also got to see some airbending in that trailer. And we got to see some water bending as well. So yeah, I know. I'm excited for it. I don't know much. I also always love seeing like high-tech ninjas. I think that's just the coolest concept. If like you're a ninja, but like you also have like I don't know, flash drives and stuff.
Like this League of like, well, no, the League of Assassins isn't. I mean, I guess it depends on what iteration you're looking at. They can have some high tech stuff sometimes. Sometimes Talia Ghul is like, we're gonna get Wi-Fi. And they're like, cool. Yeah.
Young Justice was leaning towards that, but
I haven't finished. I've been rewatching it, and I need to get to season 3 because I loved Young Justice when it came out 10 years ago. But yeah, I love. Yeah, you're right. The rings are like they're bracelets. I don't know anything about this character truly, so I'm all in. Michelle Yeoh's in it, so I'm gonna watch it because I love her, and they got like the all-star cast, like every major like East Asian actress, like all like I love seeing people like people of color that have been in the industry forever and getting like to be in these big major motion pictures and getting their time that they should have gotten 20 years ago when they were all just being typecasted. It's like it's just great to see. I love it. I'm excited. I'll definitely be there in the theater to watch it for sure.
Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you again for joining me on one of these shorts. This will be fun. 2 separate shorts. Where can everyone find you and your Tostagies.
Yeah. You just find me on TikTok. I'm just there having fun, posting content. I'm waiting for my Raylo
Yeah.
backpack to get here so I
You
can do
haven't
an
talked about my
unboxing.
ship yet, by the way.
Who did you comment?
I commented um
Did you do
Claude.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you do a troll ship? Claude and
Per,
who?
perhaps. Claude and Rose.
Claude and Rose. Well,
Yes.
first off, Mateus is Claude's true love. I'm not going to
That's
do
true.
that to Mateus. I'm not going to do that to him. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to skip over that ship. I do have a bunch
I
of
would
them
too.
saved.
I would too.
I do have a bunch of them saved. So I'm gonna I'm due for one. I think I'll post the Satine Obi one for Julia. She just commented Corky's parents, and I was like, I'm on it. Like I got you. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's like my little series I'm posting right now, and yeah, and then just come, and if you want to just see me just have full emotional breakdowns even more, you can follow me on Twitter at MissEggy28. There you go.
Yes. So everyone follow Ms. Eggy. It's a wonderful time. It's a hoot.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
but
But yeah,
all right.
but
I
thank
will.
you.
Yes. And have a good one. And may the 10 rings not hurt you, or the sea dragon monsters.
May the 10 ring.
And she dropped out. So I will go ahead and end it. Have a good one, everyone.